Yeah, look, let's jump across into this Crusaders. It's almost Crusaders. This All Black side. We'll jump across into the forwards to start off with. 3 hookers in this squad: Coles, Taylor, and Talkiaho. Do you think there's anyone that's missing there, and who's your starter?
I mean, the obvious one is the question mark over Dane Coles. Asafa Omua is the other player I think as a young player should be there. Eklund,
he's been good.
I just don't know. I don't think he offers enough for test level, and I don't think he's a big enough body. So no, I probably wouldn't pick him, to be honest with you. Big work rate, big engine, good Super Rugby player. I'm just not sure he's
definitely not a starting All Black.
No, to me, he's the perfect example of a fantastic Super Rugby player that won't play for the All Blacks ever. And we've been raving about him on this show for 3 years.
Yeah, we love him.
Even when he wasn't getting enough games.
So let's be honest, Cody Taylor starting. Who is your bench hooker out of Coles and
Takiaho?
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Coles is
done
and deuced.
on the slide.
Yeah, I think so. Fantastic player. Jesus Christ, he's had a good year. But a good season, a good career.
If we look across the props, we've got Bauer, Laulala, we've got the uncapped Ross, Ta'avau, Tuana Koafi, and Tu'umafasi.
Yeah, so loose heads, you got Bauer, Ross, and Tu'inukwafe. They said that Ethan de Groot was left out of this because he wasn't fit enough. He didn't hit some of his benchmarks there. So I assume that he's going to come back in and be a very good chance to start for the All Blacks in the Rugby Championships, but he ain't playing against Ireland. I think they just need him to work on a few things before that happens. Moody, of course, is out for the year with a long-term injury. So I think otherwise he's probably their best loose head prop. And this has just exposed where they're weak to me. Aiden Ross, I think, has had a really good year. But, mate, Bauer, Ross, and Tu'inukwafe, I think they're down on loose heads. I think they're going to start Bauer, and I think they're going to have Tu'inukwafe on the bench.
It's not great.
That sucks. No, it doesn't suck, but it's pretty weak.
It's pretty average.
Yeah. On the tight head side, you got Nipo Laulala, you got Angus Ta'avau and Offa Tu'ungafase. Again, I think this is going to be the Blues double, Nipo and Offa. Yeah. I think the only thing that might stop it is if Offa's lost too much confidence in this scrum and the selectors don't want to be exposed there against the likes of the Irish pack, which are, very, very solid.
Can I just point out a weird thing on this graphic? Can everybody else see this?
Yeah, as long as they're on YouTube.
Why does Offa Tu'umafasi not have the apostrophe there?
I don't understand, but I thought the same thing immediately when I look at this. Tu'inukwafe has the apostrophe, and Tu'ungafase.
Avowal has it as well.
They all get it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is rugby. Did the rugby come out you do this again?
I don't think so.
I know it's not. I know it's not. It was a dig. All right. Thanks for getting my joke.
Dig the Kiwis. Dig the Kiwis.
Sorry. Okay. All Blacks got no idea how to spell their own names.
Yeah.
They're really easy names to spell too.
Look, do you want to roll it out? I'll keep asking you about the forwards and you can ask me the backs.
Yeah.
So in the locks, we've got Scott Barrett, Josh Lord, we've got Brody Retallick, Tupavai, and Samuel Whitelock. It's tough. So who are your 2 starters and who do you take on the bench?
Wow, this is harder than I thought. I'll tell you what, I can tell you first and foremost, Brady Retallick's not starting for me. I don't think he's there just yet. You might give him some time off the bench. Sam Whitelock's another one. I just think he's probably on the downhill, and I don't think he's my starter for the World Cup.
That's 2 big names to leave out his starting side.
Sure is, mate. I'm going to go, especially when I don't normally love Scott Barrett either. So what am I doing here? All right.
It's Lord and Vite. Can we bring Arcoy in as well?
That's it. It's definitely not Lord and Vite. I'll tell you what, I will start Tupavai on the 5 jersey. I think he's had a fantastic year, and I think he's probably their best lock next year in the World Cup. And I'm going to start Brody, and I'm going to have Scott Barrett on the bench. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind working way in, and someone's going to take a miss, and if it's Whitelock, it's Whitelock.
Who have you got? You got any changes? This is a contentious.
This is hard. Honestly, this is really hard. I think you've probably got the right. I've
got an eye on the World Cup when I make these selections.
You've got the right 3. I'm not a huge dog roll Scott Barrett fan.
Yeah, except for the last 2 weeks, man. All of a sudden, he's been fantastic.
He's been good. And look, I mean, more than likely it could be Whitelock, Retallick, and Barrett. But I like Vai getting worked in. If they've got an eye for the future, he's the man they've got to be having into their 23. So, there's a good chance he comes off the bench for me. It's Retallick and Whitelock and Vai coming off the bench.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. If we go to the back row, you've got Captain Sam Cane. Captain still. Akira Ioane, Dalton Papali'i, Adi Savea, Hoskins Satutu and the uncapped Peter Gus Suakula finally making the squad.
I just don't know where to begin.
Let's start with Sam Cane.
Okay, that's a great place to begin.
Yeah.
I don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
Look, I think we have been very vocal about our thoughts. Sam Cane, fantastic player.
Yeah.
We are not taking that away from him, and sometimes it sounds like that's not what we're saying. But we're talking about the All Blacks, who have been the benchmark of rugby in the professional era and probably the amateur era as well. They're an outrageous side. I don't think he's anywhere near the starter here. To me, Dalton Papali'i is the form open side. He is very clearly the best number 7 in the country at the moment and should be starting. And if it's not him, I'm moving Artie Sevilla to 7.
Yeah.
I don't care that he's been playing for 8 for that long. Sam Cane is not in the form that he deserves to be there. I'm waiting for him to do anything at Super Rugby level in an important game that says that he deserves it.
Other than just make tackles.
Yeah.
He makes tackles.
But his tackle percentage isn't as high as the others anyway.
He makes a lot of tackles.
Doesn't matter, mate. His tackle percentage is lower than Dalton Papali'i, who's in competition. So if he's making less tackles and more errors.
If we look at this, so Dalton Papali'i makes a tackle every 5.27 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Cane, his strength, makes a tackle every 6.54. If we
so
go
less tackles,
less tackles. Dalton Papali'i's strength, definitely we would say over Cane is running the ball.
Sure, yeah.
He makes a run every 17.09 minutes.
Yeah.
Cane makes a run every 12.14 minutes.
Yeah, but
makes more, but far less dynamic.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Similar minutes.
Teamwork.
Similar minutes. Papali'i 17 tackle busts. Cane 6 tackle busts.
Yeah, chalk and cheese.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Right. So look, for me, that if we're arguing Sam Cane's strength is tackles, he doesn't make as many tackles.
What are their tackle percentages? That's what I want to know.
It's not coming up. That's our issue in this app.
Right. Okay. Well, while we can't find that, I'll keep pushing on. I'm going to say very boring. Akira 6, Artie Sevilla at 8, Hoskins. I actually kind of want Hoskins on the bench and not Sam Cane, but it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is Dalton Papali'i is going to be on the bench because he covers 6, 7, 8. Yeah.
So if you have your starting back row, what's your starting back row? If you had to pick
6, Akira, 7, Dalton, 8, Artie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exact same.
Cool. And Peter Gus, I actually genuinely think he was the best loose forward in the first half of the comp. And out of that list, he's arguably the worst. He's very close to Sam Cane. Like, he has not had a good back end.
He really fed away.
Yeah. And when you've got the likes of Luke Jacobson not making the team, Shannon Frizzell not making the team, I think he needed to be much better in the second half of the team at his age to warrant a selection into the All Blacks.
Yeah.
So, love Peter Gus. Surprise he's there, to be honest with you. I don't think he'll get a game. Unless that they're up 2-0. If they're up 2-0, they might just cap him so he doesn't end up playing against them and destroying them in a World Cup game. Backs, Nelson, Finlay Christie, Folau, Fakatava, Aaron Smith. There is no Brad Weber. There is no TJ Perenara. What's your team?
Look, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people with what I say. I honestly think on form and form alone, Finlay Christie is probably the starter for me. I think Folau Fakatava has shown he's clearly the man to come off the bench in terms of how dynamic he can be and exciting he can be. You can play an Aaron Smith for 60, 70 minutes. You can throw Folau Fakatava on. You could probably do the same for Finlay Christie. So for me, I think if you want to have a guy getting some experience, playing and leading into the World Cup next year, you fought Folau Fakatava to be eligible for the All Blacks. He is the man that's clearly on the bench for me. I think Christie's been more in form and more, in control of match than Aaron Smith, but I don't think you can start anyone over Aaron Smith. So Aaron Smith starts, Folau Fakatava benches. No. I said I think the most in form halfback is Finlay Christie, but Aaron Smith has to start.
Yeah, it's black and white. It's Aaron Smith to start.
Yeah, I mean he has to because of his experience, even though he is not in the form.
They've even said they couldn't pick Brad Weber as well because they could only pick 2 or 3 out of Aaron Smith, Finlay Christie, Brad Weber because they didn't want 3 like-for-like halfbacks.
Yep.
And then they had to pick between TJ Perenara and Folau Fakatava as the dominant kind of running.
Fakatava.
And it's Fakatava for that role. And I get it. I think that's okay. So I've got Aaron Smith, Fakatava on the bench as well.
So you've said the same as me.
Yes,
Yeah.
except I'm not going to talk up Finlay Christie as much as you did.
I like him. I really like him.
I don't mind him, but I just think he might be given more raps because of how the Blues are going rather than how good he is. I think he's solid without being exceptional. He's got the Bryn Hall effect in my head. Bryn Hall just starts for the Crusaders, so it means that he's good.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
But he never actually does.
No, I do like him. I really like him.
I think he's probably better than Bryn Hall.
Yeah, he's not Bryn Hall.
Okay, fly halves. Bodie Barrett, Richie Moe, Stephen Per franchise. We need a new short, fun name for him for the
Perifin not going to get a start.
Phenomenal.
Is Perifin not going to be in the 23? Look, I really like him, but look for me, and this is probably the most contentious position in terms of their entire 23. But it's Mo'unga. Richie Mo'unga has done enough for me over the last few years to be the starter. Beauden Barrett offers a 10/15 role and is brilliant off those two roles. You could start either of these and have, we were talking about, yes, world-class centres for the Wallabies, and you aren't happy about it. This is two genuine world-class 10s.
Yeah, 100%.
There is no wrong answers between these two.
There is, because Richie Moe is the wrong answer, but Barrett's the correct answer. And he's World Player of the Year at 10. They started shifting to fullback, and then he has been out of the picture for World Player of the Year. All of a sudden, he starts playing a full season at 10, and how good is he at the Blues? All of a sudden, we're saying once again,
the last few weeks, he's been above.
Mate, he's been amazing all year. Mo'unga's barely played a game this year, mate. They've been resting him all year.
Very silly. I agree. But I'm basing this off the last couple of years, not just this year. But yeah, I agree. On current form, it's got to be Barrett, and the fact that he's got the history he does. But I walked into this selection going, I wanted Mo'unga 12 months ago, and I want Mo'unga this week.
Yeah, I've changed. I think that Bodie Barrett's starting
to
change their mind. I don't care, mate.
Who kicks for you?
Geordie Barrett.
But Geordie Barrett on your wing?
I don't care where he is, mate. Anyway, let's get there. Centers, Goodhue, Jack, not Josh playing the centers.
Thank God.
David Havili, not playing at fullback. Rico Ioane, not playing at wing. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, not playing for rugby league. And Quinn Tupaia.
This is tough.
Who you got?
I mean, my outside center's Rico Ioane.
Done, I agree. Lock him in.
He's one of the first picks in this entire squad.
Yep.
The inside center is tough. Look, has Roger Tuivasa-Sheck
done enough? Just go name in the hat and pick one out.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're playing this week.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, has he done enough to start? He's been very good. I don't think he's a starter week one. I think you've got to bring him off the bench, give him a chance to show that he can do it at this level. So I probably wouldn't be picking him to start. Jack Goodhue, too slow at the moment, hasn't really shown he's back to his best at the moment. Quinn Tupaia has been very good, but I'm just going to have to go David Havili. David Havili, and I can see it in your eyes. I don't think you agree, but David Havili and Rico Ioane probably would be my starting centre pick.
I like it. I'm going to put Havili on the bench, and I'm going to start Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
With something I've said all year, and I've changed my mind because I don't think he's there yet, and you're doing that.
Yeah, 100%.
He's been good.
You know why? Because not only has he been fantastic in that quarterfinal, where I think we finally saw the best of him.
Yeah.
But I think he's just solid for his entire game. And the other thing is, I've got Bodie Barrett at 10, Tuivasa-Sheck at 12, and Rico Ioane at 13, and Caleb Clark probably on the left wing, spoiler alert. So I just think that the cohesion of that back line is so bloody good, and just let them keep playing together. I'm thinking, who's my 12 at the World Cup? We know the problem with Havili, and the problem with Havili is he's not dominant enough in contact to be an international 12. I think Tuivasa-Sheck has the better ability to get through contact and get over the ad line.
So the thing there is we're not picking
team
next year.
I'm picking my team for first test this year with an eye on the World Cup.
And that's what I'm doing. And that's why I said Roger Tuivasa-Sheck to work his way into this starting. So I
just disagree. I'm just starting.
That's right. I can see him starting, and I've talked him up. I talked him up before we saw him take the footy field.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I don't know if he's done enough in the eyes of the selectors to start game one. It could be game 2, it could be game 3, but I think someone has to be that inside centre role. For me, it seems odd to go Quinn Tupaia, you get game 1, but then we're going to give Roger Tuivasa-Sheck the next couple. So that's why I've gone.
That's the thing. Roger's also never going to be on the bench. He plays 12 or rugby league. Like he's not on the bench. You're not becoming a specialist.
At the moment, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think he has to be switched as 12, but we haven't seen him in rugby.
He is, mate. You're not putting this guy that's learning rugby union.
No, I think at the moment, I'm saying I don't think he has to be on his skill base.
Yeah.
But in terms of what he's been able to do, I agree. He needs to have that time in 12, and that's where he's at. Yeah. But look, I think Havili's probably game 1 and Tuivasa-Sheck's game 2. Taken over.
It. Yeah, I don't mind that either, to be honest, but I'm going to go RTS. Outside backs, let's finish off. Geordie Barrett, Caleb Clark, Lester Fainga'anuku, Will Jordan, and Sevu Reece.
There's one name that has to start, and that's Will Jordan. That's a fullback for me.
Wow.
Yep. He is too good to not be their starting fullback.
I'm just moving to the bench, mate. To the wing. He's starting.
Look, I think that's what will happen. But Will Jordan is out and out the best player in that back 5. So if you need Geordie Barrett there to kick, you need Geordie Barrett there for other things.
Well, tell me the rest of your back line, and then we'll discuss.
Sadly, Geordie Barrett's not the winger that we to complete this argument. Sure. But look, it's Caleb Clark versus Fainga'anuku versus Sevu Reece for one spot.
So who's on the other wing?
It's not Geordie Barrett, is it?
So who is it? So there's 2 spots then.
Well, if I'm picking,
yeah, you're telling me your team. This is the exercise. At the last position of the exercise.
Are we picking what I'm going to pick, or what do you think the All Blacks going to pick?
Pick what you want, mate.
Geordie Barrett's on the bench.
Okay, and then who's your starting wingers?
You've got Will Jordan fullback. You got Lester Fainga'anuku, who's done enough to take one for me. Not experience. I'm just going off.
And that's after you roasted him last week for his 2 tries he let in.
Correct. Caleb Clark and Sevu Reece are the 2 wingers. Mate, I want the All Blacks to lose. Clearly. No, look, you have to start Geordie Barrett fullback, and it's Will Jordan on one wing.
Wow.
And it's
Will Jordan on the wing now.
Yeah, no, I'm saying this is what it should be. I just want him to be fullback. Like, if I pick him first, where he deserves to be, it's fullback. Right. Then I'm feeling the wings. But if we have to make the best 3 out of this, he has to be wings, sadly.
Right. Okay.
But he has to play.
And who's on the left wing?
It can't be the guy that can't defend. At the moment, it's probably Sevu Reece for me. But at the moment, we haven't seen Caleb Clark for a little while. He hasn't been. He missed a little last year. Sevu Reece has found his way back into some of the form we've seen him in the past. So Caleb Clark.
Can I interject?
No, mate.
Because you've said your piece. Let me interject.
Yeah.
Okay, so my preferred team, which I know will not happen, is Geordie Barrett at 12. 30 at 10, Geordie at 12.
He's not there.
Man, he is. He's bloody good at inside centre. He's a giant human. He has the kicking game to complement Bowden, and he's an absolute Adonis of a human in D and attack. Like, he is their 12. Long term, if you want the best team, you put Bodie at 10, Geordie at 12, let them run around together. We've been talking about this for like 5 years.
Yeah, it's probably
that's just the best team there is.
I just don't.
He was playing in a crap Hurricanes back line, and he's still freaking amazing at 12.
No, look,
you put him in the All Blacks, and he will be unbelievable, and that fixes your problem. Will Jordan goes to fullback, and then I would put Caleb Clark and Sevu Reece as my 2 wingers.
Yeah.
But I know that's not going to happen because I know the All Blacks coaching staff have been interviewed about this, and he says, look, I guess it's one of the cases where the Super Rugby side and the All Blacks team doesn't see him in the same position. So he said, Geordie, if you're going to play 12, then you better be bloody good at it because there's a lot of competition. I think he is. But that's not the point. I think there's no way in hell they're going to play him at 12 because that's basically what they've shown. And it's just another reason why I think Foster's nufty. No, I shouldn't say that. I would love to talk to him. But that's why I think he's not the best All Blacks coach option that there is.
Yep, that's fair.
I would pick Caleb Clark at 11, Will Jordan 14, and Geordie Barrett 15.
Has Caleb Clark, he's been very good this year. He's not playing at the moment through injury.
I don't care. I'm stopping him.
He left last year to play sevens and took a slow start to get back into some form.
He was fantastic in the middle of this year. And then Lester
Fainga'anuku. A month ago, we said Fainga'anuku. I would be saying
just
Fainga'anuku.
a liability in D. And Sevu Reece is a right winger to me. He's not a left winger.
A week ago, before our pod, you thought it wasn't his fault in terms of those defensive reads.
And then I learned. And then I learned.
No, I taught you. Yeah. So that could that be a one-off? I don't assess it that much every week. Is he always that big a liability?
Yep. No, look, I
or is it 'cause he had
honestly,
slow good year there?
even without that, I would still put Caleb Clark above him.
Yeah.
I actually think Caleb Clark was the breakthrough player of the year a couple of years ago.
2 years. Yeah.
He's unbelievable as a player. I think he's better than Lester Banganuku, hands down. So if he's fit and healthy at 100%, I'm picking Caleb Clark.
It's probably fair.
Good. I'm glad we agree. All right. Any big?
Can I point out the one thing out of this?
Yeah.
Most years we talk about the All Blacks, we would be locked on 99% the same.
No.
I reckon we would be very
The
similar.
problem is always the fact that they have way too many
No.
players.
The problem is they've had too many talented players, but they have stuck with consistency, and that is what's made them so good. The same guys have played week in, week out for years on end, and that is what's made them so good. They haven't just rushed, the hot new thing, the shiny new player into positions. That's not what they've done. But at the moment, we genuinely don't know in a lot of these positions who they're going to pick.
Yeah, look, I think they will. I could tell you, I reckon within 2 players.
Will you pick more than what the Wallabies would? For game 1?
More?
Are you going to get them more correct than the Wallabies?
No, I think both pretty similar.
Let's write it down and let's count game 1. The starters barring injury.
I'll tell you who it's going to be. It's going to be George Barrett at 1, Cody Teller at 2, Nepo Lalar at 3. It's going to be Brady Retallick and Sam Whitelock in the locks.
That's not what you said. You said Vai.
I'm saying who they're going to pick.
Yeah.
Akira Ioane at 6, Sam Kane at 7, and Artie Sevilla at 8. It's going to be Aaron Smith at 9. It's going to be Bowden Barrett at 10. It's going to be 12 will be David Avili. 13 will be Rico Ioane. Left wing will be Caleb Clark. Right wing will be Raw Jordan. And 15 will be Geordie Barrett.
I reckon that's what they'll pick.
So do I. There you go.
But that's not who they should pick. And if they do pick it, I think that's not necessarily the best thing for them either.
Yeah, I agree, man. We've discussed what we think. So let's push on. So I would just mention that Joe Moody, we mentioned, is injured and gone for the year. Ethan Black out of the same, having, I believe, a shoulder operation. And Anton Leonard-Brown, he could be back in October, but injured for now. So another fantastic centre option there, but just hasn't had the form, sadly. So I think he's going to be tough to push back in when they have got so much conjecture around what's going on there. Also, Damien Mckenzie, Patrick Tuipulotu as well. Both of those guys have to play for their club sides before they're eligible. So I guess that means that they may come into options to be picked for rugby, for the rugby championship. And I'll tell you what, Patrick Tuipulotu, man, he's my starter.
He probably walks into that.
I reckon he's my favourite lock out of all of them.
He probably is. And
he's at the peak of his career.
By the time he left, he was
a leader.
He was
physical. Yeah. So anyway, I think he's going to be a huge in for them. And sadly, Josh Lord will just have to wait a few more years, but I don't think that's a bad thing. And Damien Mckenzie, man, he's your utility on the bench. He's still freaking amazing. It just depends on.
Do you carry him over Moore though?
Well, let's not. Yes, I would over.
You shift Bodie Barrett to 15, or you shift.
It depends. It does depend on the makeup of the whole 23.
No,
so we won't go into that. It's too far hypothetical.
You don't do that.
I think that's the gist of it. Enor not there, Bridge not there. I think we all expected that. We mentioned all the other players other than Tyrell Lomax, but I don't believe he was ever there in my head. So
no.
I think that's about the gist of where we're at with these sides. And I think we've picked the starting side for the Wallabies and the starting side for the All Blacks. It looks like you and I are going to put our starting teams down for test 1, and then you can make a beautiful graphic, and then we can see how right or wrong we are.
Man, I've made that graphic, and it's correct, and it's 100% correct, and I put it up today.
Right, so no reason for me to do it because I'm just.
I picked the Wallabies lineup weeks ago. I think I put that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, turn it up.